sister, and I slipped my mind that today was Valentine's Day, so I'm not wearing a red shirt, but there's got to be tomato sauce somewhere. So, go to the next slide. There's our meeting agenda. We're going to keep it short and sweet today, so just 5 items that we have to get through, and as soon as Pastor's done talking to some of the visitors, I'll ask him to open up with a prayer, and we can get started. Hopefully, all of you have had a chance. This has been available for about 3 weeks now. Hopefully, everyone's had a chance to look at it and read through it. This is what we call the narrative budget, which is included in our annual report. And this gives you some information on all the teams that we have in our congregation and all the things that we're doing and how we arrived at not only the budgetary numbers of doing what they want to do this year, but what they've done for the church in the last year, what they plan on doing this year. So there's really very good information in here. Hopefully you've had a chance to read through it, and it'll hasten the process of getting through this today. So, Pastor, if you're ready, we can start with the opening prayer.
Let us pray. Gracious God, at Pentecost all those centuries ago, you formed the church. You gave us the responsibility to be the vessel that carries your word throughout the world and over time. And so here we are, Lord, in this place that you have gifted us with, stewards of this blessing. As we spend this time together, Lord, in our business mode, making decisions and accepting new leadership, we pray that we might feel your presence here, Lord, feel your guidance. I ask your blessings, Lord, on this proceeding and everyone here and those who were unable to attend. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, thank you, Pastor. Okay, so we've already knocked off one item on the agenda. This is moving fast. We'll do the best we can here. The first thing we like to do is every year we look at the minutes from last year. And if you happen to have this booklet with you, on the very last page is the minutes from last year's meeting. And typically what we'll do is we ask you to read through it, and we're looking to officially ratify those minutes and approve those minutes. So hopefully you've read through it. And I'm really looking for a motion for someone to...
Motion to accept the minutes from 2000.
For 2000. Do we have a second for that? Okay, Randy?
Point of order.
Point of order.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, that's okay. Obviously, that's going back. I couldn't help you with that. I wasn't even here. So don't blame me, okay? Yeah, 2020.
They were approved back in 2000.
Yeah. They were approved, I'm assured. Okay. So we have Randy as the second. So all those in favor of approving the minutes from 2020 as they appear in the booklet, just a show of hands would do the trick. And I think the ayes have it. So thank you. Okay, that's the second item knocked out of the way. How about that? Okay, next slide, John, if you would. Our total budget figures are on the screen there. I figured I'd cut to the chase and give you the bottom line numbers. Our 2020 budget, as you can see, was about $283,500. The proposed budget for 2021 goes to $303,400. Now, basically how we arrived at this figure is we took the budget from last year, which was kind of a closed year for obvious reasons, and we kind of slid it forward a year. But what appears to change is during the year, we weren't completely inactive. Well, we did a lot of things. For one thing, your council met every month, and we had meetings and looked for ways to move the church forward. And the biggest advance that we've made last year, Pastor touched on it today, was the fact that we were able to film our services and provide our services online while technically the building was closed and we couldn't gather here together to attend church together. And believe me, the toughest decision by far was having to close this church down. That took a lot out of us. It really did. That hit us where we didn't want to get hit. And it was a very tough decision. But during that time that we were closed, we were able to keep services going. And to think now, looking at all the equipment that we have back there and how far along our televised services have come since that time. We started by using Pastor's iPhone as the main communication method, and we've come a long way since then. We realized, and again, Pastor mentioned this morning, that as we were doing this throughout the year, as time went on, we were able to see how many people were watching these services, both on YouTube and Facebook. And the numbers just kept growing. And as Pastor mentioned this morning, we had around 800 people, upwards of 800 people watching the service. So wow, a new way of being able to spread the gospel through Rock of Ages in little old Wildwood, Florida. We were able to do it while we were closed during a worldwide pandemic. The Lord works in mysterious ways, so I'm glad we were able to take advantage of it. So part of that increase in the budget was during the year of 2019, toward the end of the year, we formulated a couple of new teams to the traditional teams that we've had through the years. One of the teams we made was an administration team. This is a team to oversee the workings of the church. All right. As the church grows, we have some paid people that provide certain functions for our church. That's going to grow in time. So by putting this administration team together and making it, recognizing it as an official team, we're preparing for that future growth. So that's one team we made. Second team we made is we have a new building. We needed a building and grounds team. We didn't have to worry about that in the other location because we were renting the space. Now we got to worry about mowing the lawn and making sure the fire alarm system is working and making sure the plumbing and all the things that need to be working are working. So we formulated the building and grounds team. And we're fortunate enough to have Dave Nelson, who is also serving on council as our chairperson for the building and grounds team. That's a snappy song. Thank you, Dave, for doing that, by the way. We appreciate that. Dave, I got to give a shout out to Dave. Yeah, he deserves that. He did quite a bit behind the scenes. You may not realize he set up a lot of he's got the fire alarm system being tested. He's got all these things that you have to go through these yearly tests. It's a part of being in Suffolk County. And you have to pass these tests. You have to make sure all the equipment is working properly. So he's really done a lot to do that. He contracted a cleaning service. So Dave handles a lot of the things that need to be done that you don't really normally think about. But if you think about running your own house and then times that by 10, that's what you got in running a new building. So building and grounds team, we welcome them on board. And that's another team that is now yearly, figured into the yearly budget. You'll see those numbers in the report that I referenced earlier. And another team was the communications team. And I just want to take a moment to speak about this because it's very important. And I got to give a shout out to some people that have done an unbelievable job in not just getting this started, but growing it and bringing it to where it is today. It started with Pastor Don and John Stoll. I got to say, these guys put hours and hours, a ridiculous amount of effort into this, making this work. We came in on Wednesday mornings, Pastor did, and we had a service. We taped the service, and Pastor would go home, and on Saturday night, he'd upload the service, download the service. I don't know which direction it is, but putting it online and getting it to show on Sunday morning. And John Stahl has done a magnificent job in researching some of the material. Yeah. Hey, a standing ovation, John. Standing ovation, okay? A magnificent job. The amount of time and effort that he spent is just unbelievable. And he got us to where we are today with all the equipment. So, and John's got a team back there. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, John. And a couple of other people. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people here. Yeah. That have helped us every Sunday to bring the service to you. We thank you all for that, for those efforts. It's been a magnificent effort. We have one of the pleasures that I've had working on council for the past 5 years. Long story, but there's an extra year added in there before I became president for the last 2 years. Is the great, fantastic people I've gotten to work with closely and gotten to know a lot better. And one of those people is here today. I don't mean to embarrass him, but he did such a great job and made such an impact on me and made my job easier because any financial decision that had to be made, I had a guru. I was very, very fortunate. This guy has been, by far, really the best treasurer I've ever had. I was on council in my previous church up on Long Island. And this guy, I have to thank Ed Clemmer for his service and his devotion. I did not make any time a financial decision had to be made or brought to council, I would ask Ed, are we okay with this? Do we have it to do, are we able to do this? And I didn't make a decision until I got an answer from him. So thank you, Ed, for doing that. And I think in sometime September, you had to leave council and take care of some things, so I want to thank our replacement, Mary Walls, had volunteered to handle the treasurer duties until this month. We'll have a new treasurer after this meeting, and Mary did a magnificent job in keeping it going and putting all this together for this meeting. And she left me a sheet. I wanted to read you some of the things that led to this final thing you see on the screen here, and things you may want to know. We received what they call a PPP loan in the amount of $21,123 from the Synod. We used this money to pay payroll throughout the summer, and the loan was forgiven in December. So we entered the loan with the understanding that it's probably going to be forgiven by the end of the year. But here's an example of how the Synod stepped in, and we always try and give to the Synod, support the Synod throughout the year. It's one of the reasons why we got something back this year. It was unexpected. We took advantage of it. We applied for it. We got approved for it, and they did forgive the loan in December. And Ed and Mary were very big parts of that. So thank you for your work on that.
It was a loan, but it was not from the Senate. It was part of the package that the government put together.
Oh, okay.
And, we had to apply for it, Mary and I, and then, as you mentioned, after 6 months, we asked for forgiveness, so we don't owe them anything, and we were able to use that money, as you said.
Yeah, to pay for those that amount. So that saved us quite a bit from taking it out of the general fund. Thanks for pointing that out. Next item is our budget income is based on 2020 actual receipts, and we are assuming that once we are back in church full-time and taking in new members, our income will increase for the upcoming year. 2020 was the first full year in our new church. We were able to get a good feel for what our ongoing expenses are for maintenance, utilities, insurance, and mortgage payments. May not be exact just yet, because this year, hopefully, as we go through the coming months, we'll be able to gather again under normal circumstances, and what a blessed day that will be able to have back into a nice sitting in the room there, having coffee and cake and talking to people. Hopefully we'll get there, okay? We had many months without in-person church, and we have taken safety measures which eliminated our fellowship and social activities. We did not incur many of the costs that we had budgeted for 2020. For the 2021 expense budget, we left most expenses the same as we had budgeted for 2020. We did increase total expenses by almost $8,000 as these, well, a little more than that. As these increases were mainly in building and maintenance and in payroll costs, and of course the communications equipment team to enable us to eventually live stream the services, if I didn't mention that before. That's our goal, is we want to be able to do these services live and show them on our website, which means we have to upgrade our website. So all these things are in the process, and exciting stuff to look forward to. So if you're out of town one given Sunday and you want to attend the service live, we'll be able to do it, hopefully, in the coming weeks. Pastor's overall salary package has increased according to guidelines recommended by ELCA, as has other staff members. The pandemic caused an increased workload for Pastor. He's now spending additional time planning and uploading services, as I mentioned earlier, so that our members can watch remotely. Until recently, he did services on Wednesday and Sunday to accommodate for the online service, not to mention daily devotionals as well. The budget reflects a weekly increase of 3 hours for the office manager. We did not increase the hourly rate. We are aware that Lynn puts in more time than the 18 hours per week she is being paid for. I want to tell you something about Lynn. I want to tell you something. Most churches, you have the pastor and you have, the treasurer, and you go on down the list, you have the president and council. In Rock of Ages, there's Lynn. And there's pastor. Okay? You want to know what's going on around here, don't ask me. Don't ask me. Just ask her. You'll get the right. The budget reflects a weekly, I just read that. Both of these salaries increases help us move toward compensating these positions as current market prices when we need to replace staff down the road. If anyone is interested in reviewing the details of the 2021 budget, you can see Lynn for a complete copy of the budget. As I mentioned, I always like to go to what we call a narrative budget, because it explains what the teams are, what they do, how much money they need to do it, and each team at the bottom of the line has a chairperson listed for contact information. So what I would recommend for you to do is, if you're not particularly involved in a team and you're looking for some way to get active in Rock of Ages, get on a team. I'm telling you, you're going to work with some great people, and it's going to be a very memorable experience for you. I strongly recommend it. So give some thought to it. Get involved. You know, it's a great way to grow a church, but at the same time, keep that small, intimate feeling that Rock of Ages has always had as long as I've been here. Yeah, Lynn?
I can put a few copies of the budget on the table by
Okay, good. Good. Okay, so that said, I guess it's time to call for a vote on the proposed budget for 2021. If anyone has any, yeah.
Yeah, I want to, before we approve the budget, I think we'd be remiss, for the 5 years that I was treasurer, this congregation has always been giving, and they deserve a hand. I mean, the amount of, we were never in the red. We were always in the black for the 5 years I was treasurer, and we continue that way. And it's not because of what I did, it's because of what everybody did.
Yeah.
So
That's a great point. We bought land, we paid for the land, we paid it off early, we built a building, and you know the story if you've been here, so I'm going to give you guys some applause. Thank you very much. And we'll continue to do it while we've been physically closed during most of this pandemic. It wasn't until, when did we open up, in September? September. Yeah, September. It wasn't until September that we were able to reopen it and slowly build the attendance each week. So thanks for bringing that up, Ed. I appreciate that.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget.
Okay, we have and Randy is a second. So looking at the 2021 budget, all those in favor of approving the budget as it's been presented to you? Okay, I think the ayes have it. Okay, budget is approved. Thank you. All right. Next item on the agenda is some new council members. You know, every year we have a couple of people that their term on council is up, so we have to switch over and get some new members. And we do have some new members for our council this year. And looking for the information here. What did I do with it? What did I do with it? All right, well, it's up on the screen. We have Kay Stallsmith has volunteered, oh, thank God, has volunteered to take over the treasurer duties for Mary Walls. So thank you, Kay. Appreciate that very much. Joan Reardon is another candidate who came forward and expressed an interest in serving on council. Thank you, Joan. Dave Nelson and Doug Walls, both who are on council, have agreed to serve another year on council to be able to fill out the total amount of council members. So Doug's not here today. Dave is sitting in the back. Joan is over here. So thank you to the four of you for stepping up and volunteering to serve on council, which I would strongly recommend to everybody. I've done it down here, I've done it up there, and it's been a really beneficial experience the whole time. So it's worth doing it. And you get to work with some great people. We've had some great people serving on council through the years, so thank you for that. So I'm looking for a motion to accept the four new council members who, okay, Nancy, and okay. All those in favor of accepting the four of Becky. All those in favor of accepting the slate of council members as proposed on the screen, just raise your hands. Wow, okay. You make it so easy, boy, oh boy, you know. Okay, well, when I bang the gavel, that's not a gavel bang, that's just showing you what the gavel is. Those four members become council members, so, and we get to welcome a new president. Yes, Lynn? Yes, and the new president will be the current vice president, but he's only going to be current for about 30 more seconds, and that's John Nice. John, if you want to just stand up and give a wave. You are in really good hands with John, believe me. So it's going to be a great thing moving forward. So last item on the agenda, and then I can bang the gavel, is we're looking for every year, and this year Lynn reminded me a couple of weeks ago because I thought they had canceled this because of the pandemic, but I guess they rescheduled it. And the Synod Assembly is going to be held in September. And do we have the particulars of where it's going to be held, or we don't know? They haven't said yet because they're still trying to figure it all out. Okay. Well, every year, churches send delegates, and Rock of Ages is looking for 2 volunteers that are willing to attend the Synod this year and represent Rock of Ages in addition to Pastor Don. So I don't know if there's anybody that has any interest in doing that. If not, we'll have to just, as we go through the year, look for 2 volunteers that are willing to do that. But if anybody would like to attend the Synod Assembly, I have attended them in the past up north, and I tell you, that is another experience that is worth going through. It really is. You meet some great people, and you get to see the inner workings of how the ELCA works. It's really quite an experience. So I would recommend, if you had the time to do it. But like I said, if no one here wants to do it today that we have in front of us, we will get to what? Oh, Royce, there you are. I can't see it because the candles are blocking my view. There she is, Royce. Okay, now we need one. Oh, now we don't need any. Royce and Mel. Okay, you guys are. Okay, how about that? We got through the 5 items pretty quick, I thought. 10 minutes, that's not so bad, right? Okay, so does anybody have anything you want to mention? Any concerns they want to bring up at all before we close it down? There being no concerns?
Again, from a pastor's perspective, and I don't want to belabor the point, but since I have been associated with Rock of Ages, it's been transformational in my life. Clearly, I should be retired. I should be out to pasture someplace. But you have reinvigorated me and my sense of purpose. And so I want to thank you for what you've given to me. I feed on the challenges that are before us. I can't imagine not engaging myself with them. And so I thank you for your trust over these years. I don't know when it's going to end. Only the Lord knows. I keep getting asked by my colleagues and peers, when are you going to stop? And I said, well, clearly I'm not able to decide, so we'll let the Lord decide when that happens. But I also wanted to extend a word of thanks to Chris Geiger. In his role as both vice president and president over the past several years, he has had to guide us through some pretty dramatic transformations. There's not many churches that have a whole new building process to guide through, and as I say that, his role in helping shepherd that was tremendous, along with several other key people, one of whom is here today, Ken Clowder. It's good to see you, Ken. This building would not have come to fruition if it hadn't been for the dogged efforts of people like Ken and many others that have stayed focused on the task. But as council president, guiding us through the immense complexity of building this building, getting it financed, so on and so forth. And then, if that wasn't enough, to guide us through a pandemic. That's never happened to a council president before. And so, we just want to give you our thanks and gratitude for what you've done here, Chris. You'll be missed, but we're only going to give you a little hiatus before we recruit you to some other lead role. I want to welcome John Nyes, as Chris said, able hands for sure. So we're looking forward to John's involvement. And then I also want to remind us all that this place is about you and our service to Jesus Christ. And for a leadership team to be effective, it has to have people who are willing to be engaged. Now, clearly, we have all had to shrink away this past year. But the day is coming when we're going to need you to re-engage, because this place is going to start being reinvigorated. We'll start to see 15 visitors a week. We'll start to see the occupants of this 200-home subdivision behind us start to show up at our doors. We'll start to see them show up with their kids and wanting Christian education. We'll want to return to the activities that we all enjoyed so much. The chili cook-offs. We did the open house. We enjoy each other's company. The spaghetti dinner.
Game night.
Game night. And so many more things that can be done, but it's going to take you to do them. So stay open and receptive to the invitation to get involved. And again, many hands make light work, but a few hands get burnt out quick. So we will try to break all the tasks down into manageable bite-sized pieces so that it isn't too difficult to get involved. So anyway, I just had to say these things to you. I'm constantly thinking about tomorrow, the next day, and the next year. And I've warned John that I've put together a long list of priorities for us to stay focused on. But the good news is, as I engage my colleagues around the Synod, we are very blessed by the vitality that we continue to experience in this place, even during the pandemic. And I just really, truly believe the best is yet to come. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
And thank you.
Okay, unless anybody has anything else, we can adjourn the meeting, and I just want to thank you for not impeaching me in this day and age. Impeaching the president is a big deal, and I didn't get impeached. So thank you.